I do not hear you, Guy. It might be me. Hello? You hear me, Guy? I don't think I hear you. Can you hear me? Yeah? Okay. I don't hear you. Just nod and say yes. What's up, Bob?
Ah, you can hear me.
Hey,
now,
there we
right?
go.
I'm like, why can't you hear me?
I'm over
And I
here. I'm
look
like,
over
is
at
it
my
me?
board,
Actually, hold
and
on.
my board is like killed. And I'm like, oh, because my board's killed. That's why.
Let me turn it on.
Yeah, maybe I should turn my board back up.
Nice.
Oh well. I have it now set up in such a way that the configuration of my microphone is just about at ringing. So it's just about to feedback. And
Right.
so if I hit like that, it'll sit there and go boom, boom, boom. You know, like, and I can hear it like echoing.
Mixer mix up.
So I usually kill my board because I'm like, whenever I'm not like actually broadcasting, I'll kill the board so that it won't sit there and go boom, 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 bing,
Right.
bing, bing, bang, 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 all night long.
No, I get that.
I just forgot to turn it
Because-
up this morning. I was like, I
I'm
came
guessing
in
George
here.
is over there playing with it.
George is messing with it.
He's like,
Good morning,
remix.
Forrest. Good morning, Bob. Yep. So how you doing this morning?
We're doing school projects.
So am I. Well, I'm not doing school project. I'm doing work.
Well, school project. Oops. There we go. Yeah, so we have to do 40 concepts in 1 week.
Wow.
10 of them are with squares, 10 of them are with circles, 10 of them are with triangles, and then the other 10 are combined. So like this. Here's the 2 circles I did today. I'm working on another one.
Nice. Nice.
And then here are all my squares.
Wow.
The hardest part is staying motivated. Not even really motivated. It's just like as soon as I sit down, just like idea.
Get
You
that
know.
feeling that you're a dish rag and you're getting wrung out.
Yeah, but I mean that's what the field I'm trying to go into, I guess.
Right.
Is. It's concept art. You're supposed to be coming up with ideas. Yes, you may be able to regurgitate them later on, but you really don't. you kind of still have to keep pulling out new ideas here and there, or just not even just like pulling out new ideas. Sometimes it's just revisiting some of them. But also, this is how I've like these things right here. This is how some of my better pieces have come out too, or at least the ones I'm working on. Like that Snow Dragon one.
Yeah.
Where'd that one go? I think it's under this one. That was Colossal Remains? Yeah, here it is. That one. That's coming along. I just got to finish up the bottom jaw of the dragon. Pretty much it's literally all I gotta do is just finish the dragon and I'll be done with this piece. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Right. I like the piece though. Composition's good.
Thank you. But yeah, this one literally was the actual piece of it. Like when I drew it the first time and just that, it was literally just that. That's all you saw. Minus the bones in the background. This is literally all it was. And it was from like the same concept of what I'm doing here. Just like, all right, cool. Block that out. Block out some mountains. Add some colors. Do a little bit of texturing. Got that all done in about 30 minutes. And I was like, oh, little guy. Just to show size comparison. And then I was like, I have an idea for you. And then I just blew it up. Made it bigger. And now there's a dragon.
That's fair.
That's how like a lot of these all started out at the same time. Like there's some of them actually I kind of want to revisit after I'm done with this class, but
I love it.
Yeah. But also it's a great little thing for teaching artists is thanks Forrest. Coming up with idea building anyways, just for anything really. Like just do a whole bunch of concepts and then be like, all right, which one do I really like? You know. And they're all thumbnails. So
Right. Which is great because then it doesn't take a lot of effort. But I think that I've been kind of thinking about this too, because we've been talking a little bit about this in different meetings and different groups about the ideas of silhouetting and just laying down the basic, what do you want this frame to look like?
Yep.
Sort of thing. And I've been thinking about doing that as well.
Because it's also, I was talking, not even talking about like during this class when I was reading everything, it made a lot more sense when I was thinking about it. It's like painting. You block everything out before you even start going into your details, you know?
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all I'm doing is I'm just coming up with a basic idea, which is blocking it out with shapes. And then I can go in deeper and deeper and make it more and more into what I'm looking for, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking too, was like, yeah, that's that same thing. Wow, Cat
Hi, George.
Early this morning.
He that's not just Cat Butt, that's a whole George. George took over the whole camera.
Right? George is all about his butt. And now so are you. My new layout means that he can get right up here in our face.
He's much happier with this layout then.
Yeah, he likes this a lot better.
But cool. Well, while we do George time, I'm gonna go grab more coffee.
There you go. We're doing quantified George time. Quantified George time. Quantified George time. Quantified George time. It's George time. He's like, what's the point of having a cat if you don't scritch him all the time? It is. It's like the important starting point here is the George Butt. What kind of show would we have if we didn't have George Butt? We'd lose our R rating for George Butt. R for rear. Boo. Mew. This show is rated G for George. George. Oh, man. All right. All right. Right? It's just not the correct show until we have George time. The problem with George time, though, is getting work done. Right? Like, how am I supposed to get work done with George in my face? All right.
All right. What did I miss?
Oh, nothing. We just have George Butt time. This show is rated G for George.
It's true. It's not a quack live stream without George.
Right. And George is like, why are you not scritching me now? I told you to scritch me.
Mm-hmm.
I will rub my head on your face until he is definitely the king of the butt people. You are the king of the butt people. Did you hear?
King of the butts.
You were you at Dink that year? We were all wide and we had that city building where it was like next door to the center was the building that says, "What is a city but people?"
Oh yeah.
And we couldn't stop laughing because we were just so 12.
Yeah, I remember that. We were all sitting out front, just
right.
You know,
we were all like,
just hanging out. Actually, I think we all just left for a minute just to get out of there, or it was like
yeah, we walked. We
after
were on
the
a walk.
show or something like that.
I don't remember what it was, but whatever it was, like it was all of us standing around. And I looked up there and I was like, "What is the city but people?" And I was like, and then that was it. Like all of us were so 12. And then there was.
I know which building that is. I've actually been in that building because of my job.
Yeah, probably.
I can't remember what building it was.
I think it's a city and county building.
I know it is a city building.
It's the administration portion of the city and county building, because it's not the actual city and county building is the other side, but I think it's the administration portion.
It's like one of them. I'm
the
trying
treasury
to
or whatever.
Yeah. There's that one.
You make this very complicated and difficult. He's like, if I sit in front of your eyeballs, you will be forced to scritch me and not do your work.
Denver Building Department, Denver City Attorneys, Denver City Parks and Rec, Denver Clerks and Records, Denver Civil Service Submissions. Attorney's Office, Treasury. Yeah, it's the Treasury. I'm actually really surprised with that building. That place is huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a bigger place than it looks.
And too much security. I'm not saying that it's too much security. It's just like when you go in there, there's so many things you have to do just to get in that building. Especially from a delivery aspect and a pickup aspect. I'm like, are you serious?
I'm sure.
I'm just here to grab one box.
And they're probably all doing the thing of, you're obviously, some kind of horrible thief. So
no, they're just like, you know the drill. I'm like, God damn it, it's one of these buildings. It's literally, even the security's like, I know, it doesn't matter. We see you all the time. If they do see me all the time, they're just like, you know the drill. I'm like, I know. Spread them. I get it.
Really? They search you that way? Oh my god.
No. There is one building that, dude, it was such a hassle to get. Like, I had to go in there twice. I went in there once, super easy. The second time I went in there, they had me scanned and everything. I was like, are you serious? Like, I was just here, like, not even an hour or two ago, and you guys are making me do this again. Thanks.
Wow.
But it's also because I had to come in through a different entrance. I'm like, that's stupid. Which one was it? I know where you're at. You're, like, right around here. You're right here. It's on Broadway. But yeah, no, it's stupid. I hated it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was during like that like really bad snow that we had, like kind of a like could have been a blizzard if we really wanted to call it like a mini blizzard. Yeah, but pretty much that day sucked because it was like 5 people called out downtown area with all their stuff. I had to go from like Platte River all the way down to Colfax, like that whole like cockeyed turn. If you're looking at the map, like you can see it that way. Actually, here I can make this easier. We have a map. Okay. So, like Platte River area, I had to cover all this down here by like 14th, 20th, all the way down to Colorado, all the way down here to Colfax, and then I had to take over all this right here, which is I think Low-High or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right here between Parker Ave and like all this, and my boss just told me to he's like, there's no way you're going to do this on committing times and whatnot. Just streamline it and go. I'm like, all right, cool. I had so many customers mad at me, and I was like, you go outside and you do my job, please.
Right.
And they're like, well, what? Well, and I show my map. I'm like, can you do this in 2-3 hours? And they're just like, especially with you guys holding me up at every security point. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, here's your stuff. I'm like, thank you. We will not be coming back today.
Hi. We're going to hold you up and make your life miserable and then yell at you for not doing anything on time.
Pretty much. Well, yeah, because like some of them I'm showing up like 2 hours early.
Right.
To spots that I have I've never been in these buildings before. And I'm just like, great. This is literally what my day is going to be like. I love it. Even my boss, when I got back, is like, I'm sorry I had to do that too. I'm like, no, you're fine. I'm just tired of people. I'm going home. He's like, that's fair. He's like, you did a good job. Have a great day.
Go home.
But also at the same time, like they're over here going, why do you want to transition to a smaller station? I'm like, because there's less stuff of this that happens at a smaller station. Like all these things that I'm fixing for you guys, I've never have happened at my old station. That's why I want to go back.
That's fair.
Yes, they do have their own faults. Don't get me wrong.
So we want blue. Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like I would rather be at a station where I'm not having to do this every time something comes up. My boss is like, I get it. I totally get it. I appreciate you, but I totally get it. It's like, I just want a route that I can just do my stuff and go home.
Right.
That's all I want. Come in, do my job, go home.
That's so much
Because one guy
better.
was trying to talk me out of switching. He's like, you can still cancel it. I'm like, all right, cool. Give me a good reason why. He's like, well, and I was like, he's like, well, everything's pretty much the same from there, APA, like all of our other stations, like they're all pretty much the same. They're all drowning. I was like, yes, except for if you know the areas and you know the work groups. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, you got me there. And I was like, yes, the area I'm going into, the hardest time of year it ever has is peak season. And that's because it's just full of rich people. They have money. But at the same time, those same people buy, like, they leave out very nice gifts for all the drivers if you get those areas. Like, one guy used to hide, I don't know if he still does, but there was a guy down in the Highlands Ranch area that I used to run, and it's a pretty big area, that would hide $50 bills in candy bars during Christmas.
Aw, that's actually kind of sweet.
Yeah, I got one once. I was sitting there, I jumped in, I was like, awesome, I'm gonna eat this. Opened it up, and I'm like, and the guy comes out, grabs his package, looks up at me, and starts waving. I was like, are you serious? He's like, Merry Christmas. And I was like, okay. That just made my day.
Right?
I was like, my day was not like terrible, but I wasn't feeling
No.
great about it.
Right.
But now
It wasn't
I'm actually
horrible,
pretty-
but
I feel
still.
better. You know?
Yep. I'm with you.
What? I just want you to stop it. I just want to stretch you. Why won't you just stretch? Oh, because you're on free transform. That's fine.
Oh man. And you and I are both, well, you're not, see, we haven't managed to figure it out where you and I are both working on 3D at the same time, I've noticed.
Usually, see, you're right. Every time you're working on 3D, I'm
Right?
doing drawing. Every
Right?
time I'm working on 3D, you're drawing.
Exactly. You and I are the two 3D artists here who actually like routinely work on 3D. And yet somehow we've managed to never be working on 3D at the same time.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah. All right. All right. So here we illustrate the point. Raise the bars.
That's the button they switched it
Go
to.
there. You
That
can
makes more
pass
sense now.
between here before that happens. So now we'll make A go across the intersection.
I need to get. I'm hoping with this new schedule that I'll have more time to like get back into like 3D and all that. Because like, if I have like a solid, I'd say about 5 hours. Let's see. It's from 7 to 4 is my schedule when I switch.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be, I'd say about 4:30 is when I get home. 4:35, 36. I would have a solid 5 hours to like do schoolwork and everything all at once. That I'm not gonna lie, in 5 hours, I could probably have knocked out at least a page or two of these. Instead of trying to do it only in 2. That's
Where'd
kind
you
of
go?
pretty much what happens. I do 2 hours here, get ready for work, go to work, do 8, almost 9 hours of work, come home, and I do work until like do schoolwork from like 8:39 till about midnight. So yeah, I'm pretty much only doing like 2-hour intervals. 11, 12, yeah. So about 2-hour intervals each time I'm touching these. So like I lose the momentum real quick. But if I could actually do all the momentum at once,
That's fair.
I think I'd be done with this more often and I'd have more free time. And I think I'd be able to jump into like the 3D side more often on my own time.
Right.
Because I've already gained the momentum for everything else and it's all done outside the window. I think that'd be better. At least that's the hope.
4204. Where'd you go?
What are you looking for? Oh,
Blue.
you're doing animation. You're not doing
Yep.
3D modeling. You're animating.
No, but look at blue. Blue's here in this frame, and then he's gone in this frame. Just gone.
Oh, Mim is underrated. Oh, that's a
problem. Where'd you go?
How fast did he drive?
I guess a lot faster than I thought he did.
I didn't know Blue was able to go 0 to 100 in half a second.
Blue has some serious momentum going.
Blue has a serious lead foot.
Right? Blue has a problem. What is happening here? Oh, I think.
Do you have to tell your students that this isn't Frogger? Do you, Guy?
That's part of our problem right there. I do have to tell my students this isn't Frogger. I'll bet you that's our problem. Yep, that's our problem. That's all right. We can deal with that. Uh-oh. Green has slowed all the way down. What is Green's problem now? Good heavens. It's like you guys just have no control over yourselves.
Green is texting.
Right? Green, stop texting. I just told you not to text and drive.
Have you gotten into car accidents yet? Have you made car accidents?
No, and probably I won't, because of the nature of kind of the beast on this one. Oh. Yeah, let's not do that. The school doesn't like to do the, don't do this. It's horrible. You will die a horrible death. Oh my God. Right into C right there. Wham.
Just like that.
Going.
Just like that. And some death.
Right? Off it goes into Nowheresville. That's what I wanted. Now we just have to figure out why B is now on drugs. C seems to be operating correctly. It's B that we have to worry about. What's B's problem? Is that distance? Oh, B doesn't have, B doesn't have an end game. Whoop. I gotta tell B to do his job correctly. There we go. So now if we look at this from this point of view, it looks, zooms out so you can see that the distance markers are there. And then we say you can then pass. Perfect. All right. Except that I don't like the fact that blue doesn't continue on, but okay. All right. Green is slowing down to ensure an accident occurs. Green, you jerk. Such a dick.
How dare you, Green?
Right? Green's got issues. That works. Perfect. I'll double check to make sure its speed is good. Good. Because now we'll need to do all the other ones. If you're making a left turn, you'll need to give more distance. Because your mission, Colton, is to not impede traffic. That's your job.
A mission?
That's your job, man. Little did you know, but that's your job.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'd say that's the people all day long when they're doing that to me. I was like,
and
what
Colton's
are you doing?
making minifig
I'm on a schedule.
Right? Colton's making minifig heads over there.
I'm making something.
But yeah, no, that's what I keep telling the kids all the time is, hey, when you're on the road, you don't want to impede traffic.
You will make enemies.
Well, it's not just that increases your chances of an accident.
Well, that's it.
I mean, like, it doesn't matter whether you make enemies or not if you wreck all your cars.
True.
You know?
Very true.
So
you got me there.
I like that you're making Lego minifig heads. All right. The other things we want to make sure, though, we'll go perspective view. We'll take the perspective view and we'll center it on the blue car. And once that camera leaves, and
No, that's not what I wanted.
We need to make sure that Bluey here does all of his little acceleration things, otherwise it's not any fun. I have worked really hard to make the car do exactly what it's supposed to do. Right? Like it bends and all this cool stuff, so. It gives just a little bit of fun here. And then just before this, we'll take the brakes off. I mean, we won't see this necessarily, but I don't know whether I will see it or not. So might as well make it work.
Right.
It only takes a second to turn off the brake lights so that the brake lights are accurate, you know. And that way we can shoot it from here if we really want. It does look like Lego minifigs now. You've rounded them. That makes it even more lovely.
They're cute. Okay.
I'm okay with it. Unless it's two marshmallows discussing how they just threw their buddy into the fire in the campground.
You know.
I'm just saying, man. This is the Donner Party of marshmallows.
Guy. Just saying.
The Donner Party of marshmallows. Marshmallow Donner Party.
Ta-da. I don't know. I'm just doing random things now. I'm like, all right, cool, let's make a shape. Yeah, it works.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm enjoying interpolating your shapes.
It's funny you say Legos though, because I was literally looking at one of my friends posted a Lego set of Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that's so cool. Let me look it up. And I looked it up because I was kind of curious. And then I was like, well, it was cool until I saw the price tag.
Right. And it's $4 billion. And you're like, really?
It was $500 for a Lord of the Rings set that's probably about this big.
Well, it depends on how.
It's probably bigger, but it's still.
It depends. I mean, is it new or is this
It's the.
From like
Elven
a long
City.
time ago.
I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head right now. What was it called? Let me see here. Hold on. Please hold. The Rivendell one. Here, I'll pull it up so you can see it. That one.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Still pretty big, but
this is relatively.
It's like $500.
Right.
And I was like, okay, you were cool until I saw the price tag. But yeah. Freaking crazy. People are nuts.
Yeah, Legos are a little ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, that's really cool. Like, I'm like, all right, I would actually, if I had that kind of disposable income. Because I do know people that actually do have that, and they do collect Legos for that. Like, they have a Lego room for that reason.
Yeah, we know somebody
they just
who does
build
that.
These.
Complete
they build
with like the ice cream top part of the room. She's gone bonkers. Like, it's awesome.
Right?
Her entire basement's just wicked. I have to admit, kind of digging what she's headed for on that one.
Right? I would do it too if I had that kind of money.
Right? Yeah. She makes a lot of money, so we can't complain.
Oh, don't they work at like, they're like a scientist, aren't they? Something like that.
I think so.
Yeah, they have somewhere in there. They know how much they make a good amount of money.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I'm just ecstatic that I got these guys whenever they were on sale. Got the Lego Benny.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. The Lego. Yeah.
They were
space guys.
put on sale, so I bought like a bunch of them so I could have some
Right.
extra Lego then, because Lego space was my thing. That was my jam.
Like, I love them. I think they're cool. Yeah, Legos are, like, everybody says the same thing. Legos are expensive. Yes, they are. But, like, they are really fun to put together. And the downfall is most of the things that I would rather want from Lego are, like, the big sets.
Right. Oh. Some people just don't have safety procedures, I'm telling you. Just open up a drawer and there's a random phaser. Still works too.
Nice.
You did see my pulse rifle, yeah?
No. Nice.
Right? And like, it's awesome too. Like, it's serious.
That's great.
I love the fact that the clip comes out. And when you put it in, the counter reads.
Nice.
It's like the best. And it's the right size too.
Your working phaser. That's a cool one.
Yeah, this was a pretty cool one. I just need to paint it the right color now. Because it's ridiculous yellow. Because they don't want anybody thinking that it's a real rifle. But of course, that's not what I bought it for.
It doesn't even matter if it is or not with that way. Like, it's also Nerf, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's a Nerf gun.
Yeah, so like
it fires
Nerf,
a lot of rounds.
Also, like, Nerf is a very yellow color. It's always been.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, and it's kind of lovely that.
Yeah, Forrest, you're not wrong. You guys definitely got the better toys at that time when they all came out.
Yeah.
We don't get those. We got Tamagotchis.
Those were useful.
Those were cool. I'm not gonna lie. I did like them, but
all right.
Definitely, yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna grab this.
Now we're gonna save as scene and say gaps in traffic. Ooh, you. And then blue car is going to have to make a left turn here. Where'd that come from?
Ta-da.
Interesting.
Oh, that explains a lot now. Okay, let's do this and boom. Control G. That looks better. Yeah. Circle 3 is done. I'm done playing with that one. I can at least get 4 done before I go. Get ready for work and all that.
You know, whoever messaged you messaged me too. I'm just kidding. It was Forrest messaging me. Oh my god. Forrest is dealing with Legos. So, Forrest, I actually got the lighting kit for the spaceship. So I'm going to be building the spaceship, the Galaxy Cruiser, but I got the lighting kit for it, so I can light it up and light all the, because there's a kit that you can put in there that has special lit Legos so that you can put them in so that it has all of its, running lights, and it's got lights inside the cockpit and lights in the back little room and everything like that. And it's all lit up nicely. And then I went to an antique store last week, and because we were waiting for our pizza, and there was an antique store next door, and I found they had old space base plates. So they had the landing pad base plate, and then they had the T intersection base plate, in the gray, and then 2 of the mountain base plates. And it was like $25 for the set. And I'm like, oh my God, that's unheard of. They are so hard to find, those base plates. And so finding them for $25 was like the find. It's on this right now. Take those. They actually had other base plates in there, like old raised base plates that are like the standard Lego height, but they're a base plate, which was what we used to put houses and stuff on. They had some of those too from the 70s. The 70s base plates had you built houses on these base plates, but they weren't flat. Like the new base plates are all flat, but back in the 70s they were 1 brick high. And they've got those too, so I'm going to go back and get those now that I've been working for frickin' ever now on all of this. I've made a lot of extra money, so for 25 extra bucks now, I can go get extra base plates. Get the light and sound kit for the Ecto 1, absolutely. All right. You. Howdy, Sarge. How you doing, man? We never heard about your results on you heading down to testify, whatever you were doing. How did that go? I can't see my screen again. Better. Okay, well, that's good. I don't think we need to mess with blue at all. Red needs to be back a little bit in the very beginning. Oh, good. That is excellent to hear. Infinite number of these things. Excellent. Oh, that's good. That is excellent to hear. I feel like we have talking people again. We just need you. Apparently we need you rotated. That's really weird. Doing the I gotta apparently do that too. My wife is kind of on my case because I gotta do all of my taxes and do all of the assessment stuff so that we know how much we need to deduct for losses. And of course, my company always takes a loss.
I'm still waiting on one W-2 right now.
Yeah.
I could get my last one. I could literally sit down in one day, knock it all out, and just be happy. Cool, I'm done. But they had an address I haven't been to in like almost 4 years. For somehow they sent it there instead of to the address I was at when I was working there last. Which if they did to send it to that address, at least my friends still live there. And I would be, they'd have called me by now going, we have your W-2, Colin. I was like, cool, I'll be on my way down.
Right?
Like, what are you doing Saturday kind of thing? Not a wait till everything else, you know, stupid. Ouch. That's a long time.
Yeah, it takes me some time to do it as well.
Guy is so good. The Sith is calling. Mine is literally, I just do it mostly on TurboTax, and I'll pay the extra money just so they just incorporate all the stuff from last year. What? Oh, they're taxing the Tabor refund now?
Tabor's such a messed up thing. I have strong opinions of Tabor.
Oh, really? Dude.
So, I remember when Tabor was passed.
Uh-huh.
And part of it, of course, was that when Tabor was passed, my mom was the one who was talking to me about all of it and everything like that. And she was like, this sounds like a good thing on the surface, but it isn't. It's not going to work like we think it will. And she was like, all it's going to do is make it, she's like, I know how voters vote. Nobody ever votes for a tax increase. So we're going to end up with everything stuck at today's numbers. And she was right. The schools started to get throttled. Everything got throttled back. And, you know, now our roads are getting throttled back because they just don't have, I mean, the budgets are set for, 1995. That's where all of our budgets are locked. And every time we try to vote for a tax increase, everybody's like, nope, no more taxes. So, all of our budgets are stuck at whatever it cost in 1995. Everything costs a whole lot more, but you can't get anybody to vote for it. And so it's a struggle to get anybody to make a tax increase. And they thought it was a good idea. And I mean, like on the surface, I agree. Tabor makes sense. It sounds like a very good idea. It keeps people honest. But what really happened was, it was that game of, we believe that all Democrats want to do is just raise taxes all the time and spend it on nothing. And so we're going to react to that. But in reality, of course, especially in small municipalities, people are just trying to make the city work. Like nobody's really trying to. So it's this like fear mongering that they've got that does this whole, all the Democrats ever do is spend all of our money all the time. And I'm like, and that's, and it's cool for the politics game, but Tabor was put in place as a response to that. And now our schools are still running on like 2001 budgets because that's the last time we cleared all of our budgets. So the schools are trying to operate on, whatever that is, $2 million or whatever, and inflation now it's like $50 million to run a school district, and they're running $2 million because Tabor. Right? Because Tabor's locked it down. And it wouldn't make me so mad if it wasn't a reaction to politics fear-mongering. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because, I mean, certainly there have been times where the liberal side of our government goes off on flights of fancy.
Not even just flights of fancy. Like there are some reactive things that we've done.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like I said, I mean, like it's not like it's an unfounded fear. There's some honest to goodness reasons why stupid happens there, and it's not unfounded. It's just that it was fear mongering to get to win votes. That was the whole point, was that it was fear mongering in order to win votes, and they won the votes, and then they decided to put Tabor in. It's like, okay, but Tabor is, and now we get refunds, which makes you go, ooh, Tabor worked. Except that you think about that and you look at your Tabor check and you're like, this could have gone to a new library for a school, or to make it so that they don't eat cardboard pizza. But instead, I'm going to spend it on, coffee or whatever. And you're like, you kind of, in a way, made it work the way that they feared it would. You know what I mean? Like, kind of ended up doing exactly what you said was going to happen, which is it was squandered.
Yeah.
And so, I have very strong opinions about Tabor. I love the concept and the idea. It makes sense. But unfortunately, it's based solely on a very black and white concept. Like a black and white belief that every Democrat cannot possibly be trusted with so much as $1. And it's like, you can't trust them with anything. Well, except that it's like an economist. They know nobody votes for a tax increase. Nobody will ever vote for a tax increase. So all we really did was just make sure that our government never got any money ever again. Very strong opinions about Tabor. The saddest part is that Mom knew. That's the part that gets me every time.
Is that she saw it before everybody else?
Yeah, I mean, she saw it in like 1992 or whatever.
Right.
So, Sarge, generally speaking, I find that you can trust the local guys a whole lot more than you can trust like the government at high level. Like my one of my best buds, his wife is the mayor of one of the towns here, and she's just a normal dude. You know what I mean? Like, she's totally fine, and she's Democrat, but she's like, at this level, we just kind of all just sort of work together to make the city run.
I mean, what they're supposed to do? That's awesome.
Yeah, right. I mean, like, she's like, we don't care whether you're a Democrat or a Republican. None of the stuff you see in Congress happens at the city level. They just trying to get things done. Oh, she actually is desperately trying to get unelected because this is almost a volunteer position. She doesn't get paid a whole lot. Right. So she spends a lot of the time with the city council, a lot of the time doing stuff, and not a lot of time getting paid for her time and effort. So she's not actually that hot on the next election. She actually wasn't that hot on the last election. She was like, but they voted her in because she's doing a good job. So, because, she's a good person and she does
doing good things.
Right? That's what I was thinking. I was like, well, you know what the line is here? Just saying. You know what this means.
It doing it to yourself. That's funny.
But I mean, she hangs out with Governor Polis and
yeah,
like all the time and stuff like that. And
all right. I'll just do that for now. That works, right? Save. Till my brain kicks in longer. Whoa, flashy.
And I have really worked myself, didn't I?
That's fair. You're not wrong, Andrew.
Yep.
Except for Bernie. I wish we had Bernie.
I know, right? Bernie was kick butt.
I was just listening to the senator meeting this morning right before I saw that you jumped on.
Yeah, I think the funniest part about that was, well, we can't vote Bernie in. He's going to be dead, and he's so old. And so instead, everybody voted for Hillary. And then Hillary lost to a guy who's like 2 years younger than Bernie.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
And there's a lot to that.
Wait a minute.
I didn't even think of that part. I totally forgot I forgot they were that close.
Yeah, they're like 2 years apart. It's silly.
One actually wants to save the earth. The other one doesn't give a shit about that for his pocketbook.
Well, and part of what bothers me about all of this, all of politics, is how much of it doesn't make sense. Like, we don't vote for X person because he does, A, B, and C. We're instead going to vote for Y person who does A, B, and C, but does it our way. Like, it's the same A, B, and C. You know what I mean? Like, and it's so weird. It's like, the more I kind of look at this, the more I get to the point where I'm like, I don't understand. And I do understand. I am reading a book that's explaining all about this.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. I know exactly what's happening, and I know why it's happening. The book is called Humankind.
Okay.
And it's about how we are, at our core, good people.
Yeah.
I mean, and all it's doing is just justifying some of the things that I have been saying this entire time. But I just thought that, everybody just keeps calling me rosy. I'm always just looking through the world with rose-colored glasses. And I'm like, well, yes and no. I mean, part of this is that, I am looking at the world through rose-colored glasses, but on the same token, I am now coming to the conclusion that everybody means well. They just somehow get distorted and twisted to not mean well by accident. And one of the worst things that happens to us as human beings is starting to believe that other people are evil, because then it justifies us behaving evilly. And that's the biggest problem we have with our society, is we then behave evilly, and then other people are justified to behave evil.
Right.
At which time they behave evilly, other people are justified to behave evil. But if you take all that justification out, nobody will
snowball effect.
Right? Because like I was saying, the whole problem with Tabor is the hyped up belief that Democrats will spend money willy-nilly with no restriction at all, which has happened once or twice, but has not happened every second of every day with every dollar. You know what I mean? It's not consistent enough to warrant a fear response, which did hamstring our city. You know, the response legitimately screwed up a ton of our projects. You know, people now are whining about our roads. Always, well, yeah, of course they are. Our roads are stuck at 2004 as far as a budget's concerned. So asphalt costs more, paying the workers costs more. So now, instead of patching all of our roads, we patch 2 of our roads because that's all the money we've got. And then you're out of you're out of money. And you put a vote in, and we actually literally had a vote on improving our roads last vote cycle, and it was turned down because they convinced the voters that all they were going to do was just spend it on administration. Nobody ever spends it on the actual trucks or anything, so they're going to just spend it on administration.
Oh, and also because usually the whole downfall to that one is if you look at our roads right now, like they fixed them, and a year later they're back to doing it all over.
Well, yeah, it's because our roads are heated and super cooled. Yeah. During the summer.
I mean, I get that it's heated and super cool, but it's also that we don't use the right materials to actually work.
We do. We use the best materials we can. What happens is the roads get a crack in them, and then the water gets in there and then turns to ice because of the way of the way the cycles of our winters are here, where it's above freezing during the day and below freezing at night through a lot of our winter. The water will get into the cracks, freeze, and then melt, and then freeze, and then melt, and then freeze, and then melt over and over and over and over, which causes our roads. There's nothing we can do. Concrete.
No, it's more that I know that they fix it.
Yeah, I mean
that's true.
But then
next thing you know, it's
and so Colorado has
beginning of winter next year. There's freaking potholes everywhere.
Right. It's because once you get a crack in the roads, it's one of the reasons why they go out there all the time with that tar to patch up the cracks as fast as possible.
Try to, yeah.
Right. They try to. Well, and that's part of what we've lost in our budget. They can't go out there and do that. Good morning, Donald. And so that's part of the hamstrung nature of things. They can't go out and patch it. And so it's just if it was legit, I don't mind. The problem I always have is that it's not. You'll get 1 or 2 instances of one person behaving badly, and then they will hype it up that the entire section behaves badly, and that justifies them doing something that ends up which sounds good on the surface and just wasn't well thought out.
Yeah.
You do. You have a Firebird. I gotta see that car. Sorry, what? Sarge's got a beautiful car.
Oh, yeah.
It's white.
So you said Firebird. I'm like, where? What?
Yeah. He got himself a. Is it a? You said it's a 90, isn't it, or is it a 91? Might be a 92. Or did they change that? That's a 99. Yeah, it's a 99. That body style started. I think that body style started in 94. So 94 through 99.
Firebirds aren't being made anymore, are they?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why we're not supposed to use concrete. Because concrete doesn't work as well holding up heavy loads. So instead we use asphalt. But when we use asphalt, that gets cracks over. I mean, all of our asphalt cracks up pretty badly during the winter. Nope, Pontiac.
Okay, I thought so.
Anymore. I mean, if you have any problems with your Firebird, you're going to have to go to General Motors to get parts because Pontiac doesn't even exist anymore. Yeah, it's because the Camaro is a Chevy. However, the Camaro and the Firebird are the same body.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you get both of them on the interstates. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, it's funny. Being a driving instructor, I have learned so much about how roads are made.
That's
I
cool.
never
I didn't realize
knew-
that they would actually teach you that at being a driving instructor.
Well, it's so part of it is we learn more than what we teach the kids, in case one kid goes, "Why are the roads like this?"
Right.
Because part of my job as a teacher is to combat disinformation, right?
It's supposed to be a teacher, yeah.
So if they come in and go, Colorado doesn't care about its roads, I'm like, well, no, actually it does. We've got a huge budget for road maintenance.
Well, that was also, I mean,
I had
based off
one
that
kid-
too.
I had one kid tell me that we don't allow embedded road reflectors.
Why?
And I was like, yeah, we do.
Oh, okay.
And he was like, no, we don't, because it gets torn up by the snowplows. And I was like, we do, but the thing is that road reflectors, only the embedded ones, the ones that are like a little pyramid like thing like
Yeah.
this, but those only are on roads where we get out of town where you don't have streetlights.
Yeah.
So he doesn't see them because all he does is drive around in town. So he never
It doesn't
sees
go out far enough to where
He
it
doesn't
starts
go out
popping.
far enough to see them. But it's it's a national law. So
I think if you
we can't
get
just not do it.
past Tower, no, maybe it's Piccadilly.
Yeah, if you go out far enough, you'll start seeing them
Yeah,
again.
if you start going out a little bit farther, like past Piccadilly, I think that's when we start getting our road reflectors.
And the truth is,
But
they
no
are
one really goes out that
freaking-
far. That's like if you're a day-to-day person in the city or suburbs, you're never gonna go out that far.
Oh yeah, you won't see it. And that's the thing, is he never sees it because he never goes out that far.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the thing, is like, he was sitting there and he was sure of this, and I'm like, no, that's a national law. We have to put those in. That's a national law. Even Texas has to put them in. I say that.
Well, that was like
loves
the
to buck all laws.
like the part that I'm having problems with what laws are getting pushed through right now specifically was like the affordable housing bill or whatever that came through.
Yeah.
That they approved. Well, if you actually read the bill, it's affordable housing building being made.
Right.
Is what it is, but that was for the contractors, not for its citizens.
Right.
Like the whole bill was actually written for them and not for us. And I was like, so we're just gonna get screwed again. Awesome.
Right. Oh, I've noticed that a lot of our laws,
And they worded it though with the title of affordable housing
right.
bill, which actually was not a affordable housing for us. It was.
It's
affordable
always
housing.
like that.
And I'm like, that's
the PPACA was that way too.
yeah.
Obamacare, it's the same way.
Oh, yeah.
And so was Trump's tax cuts.
Yeah.
All of those are always, they look great for us, and then they really aren't.
When you actually read deep down in there, the fine print, you're like, oh wait, this is actually screwing us.
Right? All it's going to do is just hurt us as usual.
Yeah.
That's
stupid.
part of my problem with, like, we spend all this time saying it's the Democrats, it's the Republicans, and really it's both of them.
Yeah.
And they've been
It's politics.
yeah, they're working really hard on trying to do this. That wasn't what I wanted to do. I think I did the wrong thing. I borked it. And Sarge is like, that's why I don't trust politicians.
Oh yeah, Congress has sold.
So there's a book out there that was fascinating to read as well, which is called Republic Lost. And it is about how we got to that point. How do we get there? Because it's fascinating the way he discusses it. Because it's Republic Lost is, he talks about the way that these guys, these senators, end up in this position. Because from the surface, it's pretty easy to just believe that these senators are like sitting there, and then an oil company comes up and goes, "Here's $1,000, vote my way." But that's not the way they do it. What happens is it has become such a commonplace thing for people to pay the senators that when you become a senator, you just like people just attach themselves to you, and then they just pay you money, and they just keep paying you money, and they keep saying no strings attached. Then they wait 15 or 20 years. At that point in time, your house payment is dependent on this. Your kids are in college, things like that. You've got 2 car payments. And that's when they say, vote my way or we'll pull this funding out. Because then
completely like, oh shoot, my whole life.
Right, most of our senators would easily say, screw you, if the oil companies came up and said, you have to vote my way. Here's $1 million if you vote my way. Most of them come in meaning they mean well. They want to do the best for the U.S., stuff like that. That's what happens. And that's where things go ugly. Because he was talking about how this has occurred a number of times. Yeah. And that's how they buy our Congress. They don't buy our Congress by walking in and waving $1 million under there. Most of our congressmen are super rich, right? I mean, like, that's the problem with our Congress is it's not a lot of people who are really like middle-class, normal folk. So it's not that. What they do is they wait until they get used to their subsidies. And then they see when their lifestyles, because we're required by law to have our senators every year, they have to put out what they're spending their money on.
Mm-hmm.
And so because of that, exactly when a senator is overextended. And once they're overextended, that's when they're in your pocket. Because you just walk in and say, oh, yeah, no, it's cool. You don't have to vote my way, but we're going to take away your subsidy.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing with a lot of companies as well. They keep us at a lower pay so they can actually be like, well, you don't do what we want you to, you're out of a job. And then you start freaking out. You're like, oh shit, I can't afford my bills.
It's totally the same way. Yeah.
It's also one reason why, like, me and some of my bosses have always gotten great arguments because of this. Like, well, Colin, if you do that, you can't. I'm like, who says I'm not actually financially stable right now? And they're just like, I'm like, yeah, try again. Like, I'm not your average person that comes in with your basic, this is how much we want, like, this is how much you make if you don't do what we want you to. I'm like, no, I don't need that.
Yeah.
Because I've learned to work around that.
That's actually what happened with a lot of our workforce during COVID.
Yeah.
People were doing the whole, everybody quit their jobs. And I'm like, everybody quit their jobs for multiple reasons. One, we gave a moment of respite for the people who were living paycheck to paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
And then once we did that, then it was
actually kind of interesting because me and my friend, I only got like 10 minutes left, but like me and my friend were talking about this with the whole AI situation that we're all going through right now as artists and all that.
Yeah.
And the biggest problem that because she's in the tech side of it too. And she was like, think of it this way, Colin, like, I'm just kind of curious how you would think about it this way. And she's right. The whole reason why I'm thinking the way I am with art and all that stuff, with the whole AI and like it's taking jobs and whatnot, is because if we were truly in a full-on sci-fi world and AI was fully automated, like everything, our whole daily lives were pretty much automated, art would actually be more of a hobby and not a career.
Sure.
Because I would actually be doing it because I enjoy it and not just because I'm trying to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting way to look at it. I was like, yeah, okay, I get what you're saying. And I was like, yes, you're right. The reason why I am freaking out about it is because the jobs that I am trying to go for and all that stuff require money from it. And if I didn't have to have that, would I have really been trying to go for this job specifically? Or would I just be doing it just for fun and actually trying to make a video game for myself or like trying to do things like that just for me?
Well, yeah,
more than actually trying to see how much like I have to come up with a bigger brain project because of this, and the people that actually would be paying me are the people that actually have money and are wanting my work for who I am and not just to get a project done.
Right. That's what
like it's really interesting when she put it that way. I was like, yeah, I get that. She's like, don't worry, my job's very close to being automated itself, being from AI and whatnot.
Sure.
And it is terrifying too that I'm like, oh, my lifestyle might have to change again.
Well, and that's part of the problem is that.
But also, I explained a lot of the things that we're having problems with the automation right now, and she's like, no, and I totally get that part, that what you're saying with the whole, it's stealing art, it's stealing.
Well, that's an issue that we've got to deal with, yes. But part of this is that we discuss a lot about the automation of things, and then we need to kind of figure out how to deal with the fact that there are people who rely on doing an automated
for the sense
job.
of fulfillment. That is correct.
Right. So I mean, part of the problem is that when you have a job where you're doing automation, you're the automated person. Like, I mean, even once we get self-driving trucks, you're going to be out of a job with your other job. You know what I mean?
If we had a better system for like this, like for the blue collar workforce.
Yeah.
If we had a better automated system for it, less people, because I know so many people that are like started off blue collar, made their money, took care of their families, and every time they have kids, they're like, I don't want you to have this job. I don't want you to be in the blue collar world. I want you to be much happier, not breaking your back, not having all these body problems that they're having at certain ages, hernias, things like that, like a whole bunch of things that our bodies are doing.
Broken stuff.
I had one at 30. It's not fun.
No, it's not. I'm with you. I'm chuckling because I'm like,
I know. That's the only one I thought of right there and then. But like,
literally, what I say to my kids is, racing was a lot of fun, but my back screwed up.
Yeah.
I
knew one guy that died because of it, and then not because he crashed. It's because race cars, like he was doing like Formula One type style and whatnot, and he died because his body was not built for
to handle that kind of
racing.
internal collision.
Not even just because his whole body, like it was like tearing everything away from muscle and like fat because of how fast he was going. All the G's, like so much G-force to your body actually isn't always good. It's only one reason why you can only do like, I think space travel a few launches or whatever, right?
Yeah, we limit the number of launches you can do. Yeah,
because of how much damage it actually will do to your body, or even like how many times you can visit space long enough because it actually separates your joints and all that from without less gravity, things like that.
One of the things fascinating about this book that I'm reading,
yes, fighter pilots live fast, die young.
For me, luckily, I wasn't driving Formula One, but it still messed up my back.
But yeah, I mean, just racing in general, though.
Yeah,
like when you start hitting a certain speed all the time and putting that much force on your body, it's not healthy.
It's not good.
Yes, it's fun. The adrenaline rush is there.
It's so much fun.
There's a reason why we have an adrenaline rush and why a lot of people do that stuff. Is because it's your body saying we should not be doing this, and your brain going, like, but it's a lot of fun. Let's keep going.
Kind of freaked out right now. Yeah.
It's your brain going. It's your brain and your body going fighting each other. It's like nope, yes, no, yes, no, yes, yes. And you're just like, all right, let's just go. And I learned that from my father. Like everybody always thought he was a adrenaline junkie, and actually he is to a point. But really, what he does is if he takes off and doesn't stop, his brain won't let him tell him that he needs to stop right now. Now, if he actually sat down and thought about it before he took off, they would just, oh hey Pepper, hello, you're coming in to take over for me.
Right.
Well, like if his brain actually if he actually thought about it before he actually took off of doing like motorcycles and things like that, or like just flying away, on high speeds or whatnot, he
Mhm.
would never do it because his brain would have caught him before his body actually acted.
It's
And
a
I learned
truth.
that through my father way longer. I always just thought he just did it because he was like, "Oh, I'm cool. I'm doing this." And then I realized, like, no, you're just doing it before you actually think of consequences.
It's true. Yeah, I mean that's part of it but I mean the thing back to what you were saying before, one of the things that this guy is saying in this book is that people assume that if you don't have money thrown at people all the time, they won't work. And the truth
Right.
is, they do work. Nobody likes to actually not work. And
Mm-hmm.
so people work all the time. And he was actually
People
saying
want a
in the
sense of
book,
purpose.
yeah, what he was saying in the book that was fascinating is if people didn't work, nobody would have kids. You know what I mean? Like there'd be no teachers. He says teachers
Yeah.
are paid the least of anybody because of the fact that they have such motivation to teach a kid that they've learned that other people have learned that they can do budget cuts on the teachers because the teachers only really need to be making just enough to not quit, and you can drop them all the way down to that line where they don't quit, just above the line where they quit. And you do that because the teachers are so motivated to teach the kids that you don't have to worry about giving them incentive.
And it's actually also the downfall right now too, is that a lot of teachers that do have that incentive don't even have the incentive anymore. They have the morale of like, I want to teach kids, I want them to do better, things like that. But now
Yeah.
it is coming down to pay that they're like, we aren't getting paid enough, and they have to raise that bar again. But at the same time, you pay people what they're worth, they actually will do more. It's actually kind of amazing.
Well,
how that works sometimes.
that's one of the things they were saying. What he was saying was that there are like a number of issues or a number of examples now in society where it's shown that people will work for free. If you just cover all of their expenses, they will operate just fine. And he
Kinda
was
like
like,
what Andrew just said, though, is like, I've been disabled for 20 years now and still have to volunteer and to maintain his mental health.
yeah, oh yeah. Like you can't
If we
just
aren't doing anything and we're just sitting there doing nothing, like, you're gonna
Yeah.
deteriorate.
My dad used to say all the time that he will never retire because the moment he retires, he will die. He had experienced that with everybody he'd ever seen. All the old people around him, they would retire and then die like 6 months later. And he's
I know
like,
a
so
lot of
I'm not
people. I
retiring.
mean, there was a guy at my work, one of my longest running jobs. He came back every like 3-4 years after retirement because he realized like all I'm doing is just sitting around doing nothing. But that's also he's not doing it.
Right. Well, and
But if he
the
actually was
problem.
doing something during those years, he would actually do it. But most of the time, most people don't even get paid that much to actually be able to do much. Like my
Well,
grandmother, for example,
that
she
was-
just
that was
sits
a
at
thing-
home and takes care of a house now, and that's all she does.
Yeah, but it gives her purpose. Like, for example, I mean, I was laid off in 2013.
Sorry, I'll call you Sarge.
Yeah, you can call him Sarge. I was laid off in 2013, and it was during that recession, and I went job hunting like a normal human, and after about 2,000, and I'm not kidding, 2,000 job applications, I was super depressed. And finally, Mariah said, "You need to stop. You need to stop looking for a job because you're depressed." Because what had happened was I hit a 6-month point, and at 6 months, they assume that the reason you haven't been employed for 6 months was because you're homeless or something like that. Something bad happened, and so they don't want to hire you because you're going to be difficult for the company. And so this actually came from like going and trying to get my resume redone. The recruiters were like, "You're going to have to start lying on your resume because nobody's going to hire you right now because you've been unemployed for 6 months." And then it was, "You've been unemployed for a year." And then it was, "You've been unemployed for 2 years and 3 years." And it was like, so at some point I just started watching Star Trek all the time, but then it was like, that was fine for about 2 months. And then I couldn't stand it anymore. just couldn't stand it. So I started writing comics. I'm like, I can't stand it. I can't. This is just.
But also that you can put that on your resume as self-employed.
Yeah. Well,
and by doing that, it still shows that you're doing something on
what
your
it
resume.
actually turned out was, after a while, it turned out to be very beneficial to have one parent at home all the time. This is before COVID. So, it was very beneficial to have one kid or one parent at home when the kid was young. Now he's old enough that it's not that big of a deal. But at the time, he was still going to only, half day preschool and stuff like that. So, he was only gone from 9 to noon or whatever. And I couldn't get a job that, would take me out of that place.
Mm-hmm.
Or I could, but it would have, we were prepared to do it, but it didn't. Anyway, that's too much detail. The end result was I couldn't stand it. I ended up doing work, and then finally started working for this guy, and I started working for that guy, and then they started paying me here and paying me there, and all this stuff kind of happened. And then we went back into the I wasn't doing anything zone for a while there, and that's when Mariah found the driving school. She's like, it'll just give you something to do, and you've got the qualifications for it. It'll give you some place to go, because part of it was that I was getting really bogged down just staying here all day. I wasn't.
That does happen a lot.
I never went anywhere. I stayed here. I worked here, and then I moved to the room next to me to go to bed.
But
so
all right. Speaking of
hands pushing,
I gotta go to work.
You gotta go to work. We'll see you later.
Pepper for 5 seconds. You'll have a great rest of your day.
I just want to input that my grandfather and my great grandfather, they both retired and they died exactly a year later.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I'm not retiring, man. I've got too much comic to write.
That's good. You at least have something that can keep you going.
I'm not going anywhere.
Well, have fun,
Colton.
I will. Have a good day.
Yesterday I was at the Starbucks while I was waiting for the kiddo to go through karate. And while I was there, I was organizing all of the Bellatrix Rising stories. See, Sarge, that's exactly what I was thinking. It's like, now my wife works as a teacher, so she's gone all the time, during school. But man, during the summer, we start tripping over one another. You know what I mean? Like, I start doing the don't come in here, just leave my office alone. And not because I don't like her or anything like that, but because she's driving me crazy, man. She's driving me crazy.
That's my life all the time.
Right?
We work from home, both of us.
You totally do. And that's the point.
Mm.
Why would you do this?
Because Polygon sucks sometimes.
Right? Oh, I know why. There. Stop being stupid. You too. Stop being stupid. Right. George was in here with his butt earlier, but he has left. Him and his butt have left. So there is that. I don't know. Okay, so now that extends the way it's supposed to extend. But it also means we need to extend C so that C doesn't do something stupid. Which, it's entirely plausible it will. So we will then come back here and say, we need to extend that backwards. Is it you? Yeah. There we go. Better. Oh, I'm glad you're over COVID. We'll see you later, Sarge. Thanks for joining us. Always, thanks for joining us.
Bye.
I have noticed that Bill has sneezed.
Yes, Bill's texted me and asked me if I was on stream. I'm like, maybe. Yes.
All right, let's fix blue. Oh, that's not right, man. I'm just going to say that here. That's not right.
I'm not sure what someone sent me was is something real or not, but I can't play it because it's officially copyrighted information.
Okay.
But I swear, it's very weird. It's a female version of Johnny Bravo.
It's very strange.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, yeah. See you later, Forrest.
Bye.
Alrighty. There has to be a way to do a path. How do I turn on animation paths? Because that's really what I've always needed, right? Is a path.
Yes. Unfortunately, I need to go use the restroom for some weird reason.
It's not weird. It's normal for humans.
Not when you went right before coming onto the show.
That is kind of strange. I'll admit that. I'm looking up to see if there's a path. I guess that's where we're stuck. Damn it. Oh well. Okay, but speed up, dude. It's going very slow. You can see he's catching up with him. He needs to catch up. He needs to get up to speed there. I see he's going to catch right up with him, and he won't be any good in this traffic, you know. There we go. You know, I'm just thinking about this, but I'm doing this. I don't know. I'm just thinking about this. I really appreciate you guys. I was just noticing that Sarge is talking about how we need to get together and have lunch sometime or something like that. I hang out with Donald now every so often. Forrest, I hang out with you from time to time. Well, at least at conventions. But that's our world. Like, I'm just really appreciative. You guys keep me company every day. You know what I mean? Like, I really appreciate that. I just want you guys to know that. We need to fix the distance markers because they need to get the heck out of Dodge here. I just want you to know that I do appreciate you guys. Don't do that. I really wish that wasn't the way it does these things, but that's the way it does these things. I know. But you're here. You know, like this morning, you're here and you're hanging with me and you're visiting and you're making this. This would be hard work for me if it wasn't for you guys hanging out and chatting with me every so often. You are my water cooler buddies. You know what I mean? Like, when I do my work, you know, you guys are my water cooler buddies. That's what you do. I just wanted you to know that I appreciate you guys.
Okay. Alright. Going back to my original plan.
And once again, blue car has decided to just stop for, reasons. Ongoing struggle, I tell you, struggle. Okay. Don't stop on the road.
Cayen, if you're still watching, so no, actually, I guess this one, Johnny Bravo, even though he was a she in this, he was being approached by men left and right, and the character was basically tossing them over her head and into trash cans and boxes and dumpsters. It was a very weird thing, but it was on one of those things that have Hanna-Barbera tagged in it. Like, it originated from it, so I don't know if it's Hanna-Barbera done, or if it's someone that's, like, appreciating Hanna-Barbera's work and putting it in there. So I had to do a little bit more research on that, but it was really well animated.
Nothing wrong with that.
Basically, yeah.
We're going to start somewhere stupid. No. Why would you start there? Nope. Big salad. I love big salads.
SNL's overnight salad? What?
I'm just saying I love big salads, and I cannot lie.
I have to have a big salad today, too. I have a big thing of salad mix. I should probably eat salads today, seeming that I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow.
Where they're going to talk about your salad eating habits.
That, and I have to talk to them about getting a different medication because people are being prescribed the diabetic medication that I'm on for weight loss when they don't have diabetes.
Oh, that's nice.
So there's a national shortage.
I'm having that problem with Adderall, too.
Yeah.
Which is great, because I need Adderall to remember to call all these places to find Adderall.
Which reminds me, I forgot to take my Strattera.
Yep. You forgot your Adderall, whatever the Adderall is. Your version of Adderall.
Well, Strattera doesn't have a shortage, so...
Maybe I should go on Strattera, except that I don't want to change medications.
If you're able to handle Adderall, I don't know if Strattera... because Strattera makes me sleepy.
Okay, see, that's not good.
Yeah.
Because I totally don't need to be sleepy.
Yeah. Ooh. I was thinking of taking my cherry tomatoes that I have, cooking them down, putting them through a mill, and then adding caramelized onions and some sausage of some sort, and having that with some sort of weird pasta thing, that shape that I picked up for dinner tonight, Donald. Everything's homemade!
You have fluff. Now I've got George Butt. But it's 11:02, so it's lunchtime. And I think I'm done with this. This is left turn into traffic. I think I'm going to do right turn into traffic, which is this, except reversed. Right turn's a little worse because I've got to make it go this way. Then I got to make it this way too, because you need to have room on both sides. Otherwise, you merge with traffic early. So I do like the way that looks though in a render. Looks nice.
Cool.
Yeah. You can totally see the zones you want to be clear on here.
Yeah, you don't want to run into the buildings. All right. Well,
my driving instructor said that I could drive through buildings.
This is not Florida. This is Colorado.
We spend a lot of time. One of my ongoing running gags in classes is that, pedestrians have right of way because they're squishy and taste good with ketchup. And the kids stop. And then I look at them and I'm like, hey, I asked the bears. They're the ones that tell me these things. I don't do it myself. Not anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I add all these things. And it's goes through the middle. I just keep letting it roll. And by the end of the class, they're like, so driving instructor told me to run over people because it's good for cooking. Just go with this roll. Aw, I like that piece.
I'm still working on it. As you can see, the top's not done. The
Cayen's saying that he takes the term drive-through literally. Anyway.
Well, I mean, I lived in Florida long enough to actually have multiple, not just like one, but like five different incidences in my community that I lived in Florida where someone drove through a type of store. 2 of them being pawn shops. So, anyhow.
So yeah, I was saying though, yesterday I went through and made sure I knew exactly. There are 6 episodes in the first act of my overwriting arc. And I now know all the names of all those episodes and their basic plot. So that's kind of cool.
Good.
Yeah. And then there are another 7 episodes in Act 2. And I know some of those. But one of them was, I was like looking through the original plot and I'd forgotten it because I wrote the original first story for it that's going to show up in the second act. That story was originally written in 2005. So it has been a day or 2 since I read through it. And I read through it again. I'm like, this is so sad. Such a good story. I can't wait to write it. It's gonna be so good.
Stop trying to become Oda of One Piece.
Right? I'm always Oda of One Piece. It's the nature of things. Anyway, I will see you later. Bye, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Well, I mean, Cayen's here and Donald's here. We also had Sarge, we had Bob, and we had, gosh, we've had a lot of people today, haven't we? I didn't see.
Don't forget that we had Colton on the show. And then
Forrest. Yeah, we had Forrest, and we had Colton, but Colton was on the show, but then he had to go do work or something weirdo.
Oh, I thought it was just because he doesn't like me and he doesn't want to tell me. So like,
right, he didn't want to tell you that, but he was saying it before the show. He was like, "Yeah, if that Pepper guy shows up, I'm just leaving."
Yeah.
Okay. See you later, Pepper. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.